What's up, everybody? Welcome to Gojo and Golic Jr. That is me. With me, as always, super producer Brandon Newman, Isaiah out in Vegas, and my father, Mike Golic Sr., coming to you live from a hotel room here in New York. And as Dad and I, seconds before we came on air, both turned around. Because I thought there was a mirror in the background where people would be able to see the reflection of there. I don't know what you turned around.
Oh, no. I knew it was a picture, and I thought there can be, this is kind of a boutique hotel.
Yeah.
Right. So they can be a little artsy. I realized there was a picture and I thought, artsy pictures can be a little risque at times. I thought, man, is that like
you thought there were some boobies back
I thought
there.
maybe there might have been some boobies in there. Yeah, but there wasn't. So
you know what? Encouragement for the YouTube audience. And we got a great show as always. Make sure you download, subscribe, rate, review. Leave us that 5-star rating and check us out on the DraftKings YouTube channel as well as DraftKingsNetwork.com. So Dad and I have been in New York for the last couple of days. We were a part of last night a special live pod edition of God Bless Football right over at Pier 17 in New York in the South Seaport. It was me, you, Stugotz, obviously, for everyone that listens to you guys, and me on occasion over on God Bless Football, and then former Notre Dame great and two-time Super Bowl champion Justin Tuck. Also, or one-time Super Bowl champion.
Two-time
Super Bowl
beat
champion.
New England twice, by the way.
And
he's the one that saved, his team is the one that saved the Miami Dolphins and were able to pop the champagne, the latest they've had to ever pop it, by staying undefeated. And also in the presser before that, Roger Goodell was there, Peyton Manning was there, so it was nice to chat with them for a little bit off camera.
Well, it was nice for you to chat with them. And Stu, so we're sitting over in the green room before this, and Stugotz is scheming the entire time, trying to get you because you have actually interacted with Roger Goodell meaningfully, Peyton Manning from all of your years around the industry and in pro football. Stugotz is trying to badger Dad into going over there and asking them to do interviews with us. Stugotz is like, Gojo, would you go over and ask them? They don't know who the hell I am. So you were talking to them over there.
Yeah.
And Stugotz reading snacks.
Well, the thing about it is with Roger Goodell, he actually likes your mom, my wife, more than me.
Yes.
I mean, I'll never, it was like 10 years ago with the Heads Up program in the NFL. I came home one day from doing Mike and Mike, and your mother was like, Roger Goodell sent you an email. I'm like, oh, okay. And I look at the email, and I went back to her. I said, this is for you. Yeah. He wants you to be part of the Heads Up football program to talk to moms around the country, which they did. They were doing tours around the country doing that. So, yeah, first thing he always says, how's your lovely wife doing? How's Chris doing? And I'm like, great, fine, whatever, and but no, it was good to talk to him, good to talk to Peyton.
You saw Roger Goodell and talked to him there. I saw him in the bathroom leaving the urinal and had to give the awkward head nod.
Yeah.
Because, I looked in there and I'm just walking
awkward,
in and I
right?
oh, that's the commissioner. Should I address him? Do I say hello? Do I introduce myself? He's fixing his flies.
Do you interact at a urinal? That's it's a universal question, right?
So I say you interact in the bathroom when you know people. Like I was walking in with our agent, and so he was telling me a story, and this was the other complicated part is he's telling a story. There's no two ways about it. I had to go poop.
Right.
So I'm veering off to the different section of the bathroom. Our agent's veering off to the urinals over where Goodell is, and we have to split right by where the commissioner is. And so, again, friendship inside the bathroom is my thing that I miss most about college football. Because you got to go and have a bathroom buddy. You could sit over there and chat.
Right.
We all got to hang out. Brandon and I used to be bathroom buddies
I would
all the
imagine
time
you guys were
in college hanging out over there.
God.
I mean, Brandon, it's one of the greatest memories of college football is you need to unmute your mic, but...
Yes, thank you for the reminder, Mike. But I used to love just... sitting at my locker doing nothing, and you'd come over and he's like, hey, you got to poop? It's like, yeah, I got to poop. All right, come on, let's go. And we just go around and, whatever the musings of the day are. Now, I do have a question about the urinal. If you're in a urinal and there's someone beside you, are you safe to rip a fart? I think the bathroom is a safe place to rip a fart in front of strangers. What do you guys think?
Brandon, that is my absolute favorite thing that happens, especially in airports, is I personally wouldn't rip a loud fart at that point, but I'm still at the age where I think I'm thinking about that too much. My deep appreciation lies with old men. Like guys in their 70s and 80s who are in there and will go pants down to the knees with their tighty whities out and will just rip incredibly loud, incredibly obvious farts with absolutely zero shame.
So this started with you running into the commissioner in the bathroom, and this is where we've gone to poop buddies and farting while you're at the urinal. This is where we, and I use this word properly, we have digressed to this.
We have digressed to this. I can save us and say you guys will enjoy and get to hear a big portion of our interview and conversation with Stugotz and Justin Tuck, where we talk about the running back situation in the NFL, Aaron Rodgers taking a $30 million or $35 million pay cut to stay with the Jets for the next 2 seasons, and Justin Tuck actually being happy that one of his records got broken. In the meantime, Dad, we had real sports last night. The U.S. women's national team tying in a game in the World Cup stage.
Well, this was going to be their toughest match in group stage against the Netherlands, and Netherlands scored first up 1-0, and I thought, this could be interesting. And we scored, I think, in the 62nd minute or something like that. Tied it up, and then you're just wondering, is someone going to get that goal at the end? But it didn't happen. But I'm glad we did. It was a great goal, great header off a corner kick.
Well, it was the ultimate, I'm her moment.
Yeah.
In that game. So Lindsey Horan scores the goal for us, one of our captains, and does it after an altercation with one of her club teammates. She plays in France, and Danielle Van de Donk on the Netherlands is one of her club teammates. Van de Donk came over and got her good along the sideline, full-on office linebacker, took her out.
She was ticked.
Oh, Lindsey gave up and read her the riot act. The ref had to come over, her teammates had to calm her down. I saw Julie Ertz was the one that came over and said, hey, we need you to calm down. Just go score. And so she did it quite literally. And Rose Lavelle, I think, was on the corner, who, thank God, she came in the second half, goes over, leans that in. And rarely do you get that moment where right after, especially in a sport like soccer, where you get to do the Cam Newton, all right, bet. Lindsey Horan did the all right bet and immediately hit a beautiful header in as the equalizer.
I mean, it was fantastic. And again, tied it up. So we tie 1-1. But his teammates in their league and now playing against one another reminded me of the Kobe Bryant, Paul Gasol story. Do you remember that one? Where they were teammates with the Lakers, and then in the Olympics, Paul's playing for Spain. And it was Michael Jordan, I think, telling the story, basically saying Kobe came up to us and said, I know right in the beginning, Paul is going to try and set a pick on me. He goes, understand, I am going to run right through him. And they're like, dude, he's your teammate. He's like, no, not in this. And I'm going to set the tone. And they showed that. And literally the first play, Paul tried to set a screen on Kobe, and he trucked him like a linebacker tackling. It got the foul, like a tackling a running back, got the foul. And they were all like, damn, he just smoked his teammate. And that was kind of like Lindsey, man. She went after her teammate knocked her down.
It was incredible. I mean, honestly, for Ted Lasso fans, it's the Danny Rojas international play storyline with him and Zorro or Van Dam, depending on what point in the season you're at there, where in international play, Danny Rojas flipped the switch and became a killer. He bloodied Zorro's nose, all that stuff. And it actually did turn bloody for Van de Donk at the end of that game. So she went head-to-head, I think, with might have been Rose Lavelle.
I'm not sure who it was.
I forget who it was on the American side, who got up and looked a little woozy, certainly. She did. But Van de Donk appeared to actually have drawn blood.
She did, because she pulled her hand away from her head and had blood on her hand, so she was bleeding.
And so soccer added to its lore, because for a long time, especially American fans who we parachute in every once in a while, we would see them when someone was down injured bust out the magic spray.
Right.
That cold spray that they would just magically
all of a sudden
these
they're
guys
healed.
with.
Yeah. Torn hamstring and they're healed.
Yeah, it's truly one of nature's most incredible wonders, marvel of modern medicine. But now we've added the swim cap.
What are we missing? Because again, you and I are two of those that kind of jump in to the World Cup, men's and women's, Olympics and World Cup.
Make no bones about it.
And so she did. She was bleeding from the head. And next thing you know, they're putting a literal swim cap on her. And I'm like, wait, have we seen this before? I've never seen it before. Now, somebody could easily tell us that, oh, this has been going on for a while. But I'm not going to lie. I've seen a lot of collisions on the pitch, and I have not seen that. But they literally put a swim cap on her, which she didn't look to enjoy, quite honestly, as they were trying to pull it over her ponytail.
I mean, listen, my sister, your daughter, Sydney, swam for years, and the process of putting the swim cap on was one between my mom and Sydney that was hell for everybody involved here. It doesn't look comfortable. You're trying to put hair on the rubber. It's just, it's no bueno. It did give us a great picture of the two of them after. So Lindsey and her teammate took the picture after Van de Donk. It looked like two friends from opposite sports hugging in the Olympics after a swimming match.
Exactly.
It looked like they played different sports by the end of that.
But that's how it should be. You get after it during the match, right? When it's over, right? It's over, and you're just your friends again. Whatever. It's only for the match, and only for those 90 minutes, or in this case, what was it, 95, 96 minutes, and you move on.
It is amazing, though. This was the there had been a 13-game win streak for the U.S. women's national team on the World Cup stage. I think they have a 19-game streak now where they haven't lost.
And plus they haven't trailed in a couple of World Cups, right?
Yep.
So I don't think they trailed, and they did last night.
And so they're still first in their group right now. And because of goal differential, they are first in the group at that point, even though them and the Netherlands have the same amount of wins there. So I believe we've got Portugal up on Tuesday is the next match for the U.S.
Right.
And so as we get ready to get out of group play, this was a little reminder that because of injury, because of the churn on this roster,
14 new players, right?
We're in a different place than we have been in a long time. The rest of the world certainly has. I mean, the Netherlands was the team that we beat in the last World Cup. And so all of these things have swirled and come to a head and brought us to this point.
So we're favored, and understandably so, going for the three-peat here. Yeah. But it is a group that in this setting, the World Cup has not played together. With as we said, the 14 new players in the World Cup making the World Cup debut, I think it is. So it is. These are good to getting kind of used to one another right now and hit their stride when they need to win another gold.
Exactly. So we will wait and see if they can maintain that stride. Congrats on the draw, though. That's one thing we also have to recalibrate everybody. It's okay to celebrate the draw.
That's right.
It might not feel good, but what do we get out of it? Baller move from Super Saiyan Lindsey Horan going out there and putting it on wax for America. USA, baby. USA. So, Dad, as we mentioned, we had the conversation with Justin Tuck and Stugotz where we'll talk about Aaron Rodgers and the idea of quarterbacks taking a pay cut in general. It's come up a little bit over the last couple of days.
Right.
Mike Florio was critical of Patrick Mahomes fattening the pockets of the Chiefs ownership by not having a market-setting deal anymore, which is inconsistent in some ways, but we won't worry about that. Aaron Rodgers takes a $35 million haircut, mostly to avoid having to commit to a third year.
That's exactly right. I mean, that was the reason he did not want, or one of the reasons he did not want to commit to a third year, but he wanted to go past the 1 year. So stopped at the 2 years, $35 million pay cut, as you'll hear. Quick correction to me, the story I told about Michael Jordan and Paul Gasol was actually LeBron James who told that story, not Michael Jordan. And I was so sure it was Michael Jordan.
You walked into there with all the white man confidence in the world.
I did. That's my fault. Story's the same. Yeah. Just told by LeBron, not Michael Jordan. Sorry, go ahead.
A different GOAT debate for another day,
go.
sir.
Right.
But the GOAT storyteller. But, so Aaron Rodgers does take that haircut. He would have had a $100 million cap hit.
Would have been brutal next year.
It's still going to sting for Green Bay to see how much he is working to make it work in New York versus what it looked like when he was in Green Bay.
I mean, like fighting it, especially last year in Green Bay because that was a big question. Okay, he's going to come to New York, but is he going to work with the wide receivers? He's not known to do that. They had so many young receivers in Green Bay last year. He didn't work with them in the offseason. It took him a while to gel, and they started to toward the end of the year. Here he's all in, and there is something about the newness of it. I saw him out in Tahoe at the golf event, and he'd talk about, it's something new. I'm driving. It's as simple as I'm driving a different way, down a different road to go to a new facility I've never been in because I've only been in one my entire career. There's just a newness to it. You're kind of like that kid at Christmas of, I know this, I've been around this, but boy, this is kind of new.
I mean, he was going to Broadway shows with his teammates, taking them to basketball games he's been enjoying. You're right. For the first time in his very long career, getting to do that. It's also a reminder that in most relationships where you look at a partner and say, oh, he just doesn't want to make it work. No, he just doesn't want to make it work with you.
Yeah,
exactly. That was the unfortunately cold reality with them. But now what this nets on the other side, all of this is the ripple effect we saw today, where the report this morning is that free agent running back Dalvin Cook is set to take a visit to the New York Jets. And Dad, we've talked about potential fits for him. Initially, I think when he got cut by the Vikings, it was Miami and the Denver Broncos. But you look at the fit with the Jets now, Breece Hall coming back off a knee injury, a system that Dalvin Cook is pretty familiar with. Some, I'm sure there'll still be variations of the outside zone stuff that everybody works with and that Dalvin Cook runs very well with, but it seems to be a great fit. And now they've got a little bit extra money to work with. This
would be monstrous for the Jets because in Miami, they got a good running back room, and he would add to that running back room, add a lot of good. They could have a nice rotation there. The bridge of Breece Hall, because Breece coming off the knee injury, and we know with running backs, Forget the Adrian Peterson coming back in 7 or 8 months. That's the biggest anomaly out there, if I'm using that word correctly.
You are? Wow.
Thank you very much. That doesn't happen. Normally, it's 2 years for running backs to get back to what they were, and this was just the rookie year. Yeah, this was just the rookie year of Breece Hall last year, and all of a sudden having the knee. So having Dalvin Cook there to kind of bridge that and take a bit of a load off of Breece Hall would be monstrous for the Jets. He's supposedly going to be there for the entire weekend. This is one of those where I've heard people say it before, and this is true here. They can't let him leave the building. They can't let him leave the facility. They got to get it done. And so he just stays right there, and they just say, have your stuff flown here. You're not leaving.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're going to just work out whatever you need. Yeah. We'll start the process. He might spend a couple of nights in what will be his ultimate like house or apartment or place of living there. So I'd agree that makes an overwhelming amount of sense. We need to not confuse the running back conversation about salary with the conversation about the impact that they still very much have on a lot of these offenses. So that'll be exciting. Dad, the other big news, and this is the world of college football yesterday, the Big 12, their presidents and chancellors voted unanimously on a conference call Wednesday night to accept Colorado as a new member. Now, Colorado still has not formally applied to move to the Big 12, but there's been some contact recently. And Dad, I get so many questions every time I do radio hits about college football about, do we think we were done with realignment? Do we think the chips keep moving?
Right.
Not gonna lie, I didn't have this on my bingo card.
Did not see it either. Again, they were in the Big 12 from 96 to 2010, 2011. They went to the Pac-12. And since being in the Pac-12, they've stunk.
Yes.
I mean, horrific at times, maybe the worst Power 5 team in the country.
Last year.
Now with Deion Sanders kind of bringing hope back there again. And the Big 12 is going to be grabbed because obviously losing Oklahoma and Texas coming up. They're looking to grab. They're looking to grab that because we all think the two big are going to be Big 10 and SEC. And I think next in line is going to be the Big 12. And they're grabbing folks right now. And the good thing for Colorado, because the one thing you always talk about is, well, if you leave your conference, how much you got to pay? Well, they'd be leaving next year, and the media deal for the Pac-12 runs out this year. So they would have to pay any exit fee at all. They could just go. And that looks like that's going to happen. I think it's a great move for the Big 12. We'll see down the line where Colorado is and where Deion is and all that. But for right now, the move and the look is good to grab a hot team, even though they're not a very good team, but a hot team on the potential of what they could be.
It seems to be the strategy because I've always maintained for the Big 10 and the SEC, doesn't really make sense to add more unless they're going to add value. You've already got the big money coming your way in the TV deals. You don't want to dilute the pool you're paying out to. But for the other conferences, outside of really the Power 2, like we've heard referenced now, more is better. And Big 12 saying we're going to buy in bulk at the year they're getting ready to introduce BYU and Cincinnati and UCF and these new members to the conference. They're saying we're going to add even more and destabilize a Pac-12 that looks vulnerable right now. And, man, we're coming off conference media day weekends. And George Kliavkoff, the Pac-12 commissioner, coming out and saying the longer we wait for the TV deal, the more advantage we gain. Saying he's not worried about conference realignment or being poached. Those quotes already aging horrifically as this now continues to undercut a conference that more and more just looks like it's not. I mean, if you are now Oregon, if you're Washington, if you're the powers in this conference, Utah, you've got to be starting to look for the exits.
What network are you? They were talking about them in the CW possibly. What are you going to back them up with the Live tournament?
Yeah.
I mean, wow. The Pac-12 has absolutely fallen from a TV standpoint, and where is it going to end up?
Yeah, because again, it really doesn't seem like it's about the Big 12 adding this power in Colorado. Right. It's the Big 12's got more than you now, and more looks like stability when you're trying to look around the rest of the landscape and figure out who's still going to be here. All right, very excited for this one. Again, cool opportunity, live version of God Bless Football at the South Street Seaport. Me, you, Stugotz from the Dan Le Batard Show, and our dear friend and former Notre Dame countryman, Justin Tuck, two-time Super Bowl champion, breaking down, talking Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, his sack record, and plenty more from last night. Take a listen.
All right, Stu, we've wasted enough time of wanting to get this out. Go ahead, Aaron Rodgers. There's news on Aaron Rodgers.
Well, I mean, he's going to be a New York Jet for not one, but 2 seasons. Jet fans, let's hear it. Let's go. all three of you.
A couple guys back there,
Also
too.
saving them a little money, right?
He's saving them like $35 million. So they'll have some cap space next year to work with. Listen, as a Jet fan, I've been a Jet fan for 40 years. We've had like 107 quarterbacks. When you have 107 quarterbacks, you guys know what that means? You've never had a quarterback, okay? And so now we have one. And we have one of the greatest of all time. And to get him for 2 years is very exciting. I know you're a Giant. I know you won a couple of Super Bowls. But it's been a misery for me for 40 years. And for most Jet fans. And so for a minute, let us be excited.
But my question is, you're not 40, correct?
No.
So
35.
Who are you a fan of previously before you switched over to the Jets? And what made you switch over to the Jets? Because that just seems like not your best decision making.
So the Jets were just good. I grew up in Long Island. So the Jets played at Shea Stadium at the time.
So who are you a fan of?
Joe Walton was the coach. Richard Todd was the quarterback. Johnny Lamb
Oh,
Jones.
no. He made this mistake like early in life. He's
Like,
a Jets lifer.
They were just
He
good
chose
enough
them.
to suck this kid in to be a Jet fan. So I think, like 40 years ago, I'm 50 now, 40 years ago, I became a Jet fan, went to see him at Shea
Fan of
Stadium.
football for the first team?
Nah.
'Cause I was hoping you would say, just be honest, that you was a Giant fan and we was trash back then, and you saw like this halo effect on the Jets or something like that.
I will tell you, there's
suffered ever since.
There's many.
Bandwagon jumpers. That's what I was hoping to get out of you.
There's many a season I wished I was a Giant fan, I'll be honest with you. But I think New Yorkers know this. It kind of goes like this. If you were out on Long Island,
Sure.
you're Jets, Mets, Islanders, and then we're all saddled with the Knicks, unfortunately, right? And then if you live in like Connecticut, Jersey, New York City, that area, it's Giants, Yankees, and Rangers. And so that's how it works.
Basic
So,
success and
yes.
Yeah.
And I had 4 cups with the Islanders in the 80s. That's
that's
it.
true.
And the Mets in 86, and that's about it. But are you tired of hearing about the Jets? Honestly, as a
You know what?
former Giant.
We were talking about this, and I was like, because my life is kind of transitioning in something other than just football all day, every day. I'm really not. I think it's good for the game. I think it's good for New York City. I actually loved it when Mark Sanchez and that whole crew and Buddy Ryan, I mean, not Buddy, but Rex Ryan had success
Yeah.
with the Jets, because it just made the rivalry, and whatever that people want to make of the rivalry. I know we're in the AFC and the NFC, but it made the rivalry fun. And it's just like, it was good to go into restaurants and start to see the Jet fans start to kind of rise up a little bit. It gave us that opportunity to kind of knock you guys down
Right.
when we did. So like, obviously we've kind of won that recent battle against kind of like the Jets Giant rivalry, but I actually think it's good for not only the NFL in general, but I think it's good for, especially for the city.
How about stay on the rivalry thing and not the city thing? How about like, when I was in Philadelphia with the Giants, we hated.
Sure.
Were you again played after me? So
Yeah.
was it the same thing that there was?
Honestly,
that hate?
I think the hatred is different when it comes to like, all right, I really hate the Cowboys. There's no like.
Yeah, I'm with
there's
you
no.
there.
I'm
You don't
not-
hate the Jets. I mean,
No, that hate
Jets
was
are
not
like
there.
the little brother.
But like with
Yeah,
Philly,
little brother.
it's
Different
like
conferences, I mean.
I actually respect Philly. My wife is from Philly. I got a lot of love for Philly. I went to school in Philly. I actually like the city. So like the hatred is not. It's more just football. Like, I don't even like people from Dallas. Like, it's like, like I don't even like the state of Texas. That's kind of hatred. But with the Philly thing, just because we're so close and there's been a lot of divisional games that have come down and like really being important in like where we go in the playoffs and all this stuff, that is probably the height, the higher kind of rivalry when I'm talking about the Giants in general. So the Jets, it's more like we play each other once every 4 years. We play in a preseason game.
Preseason game, right.
Who cares?
I am with you, though, that it does feel good to have that force there, and we hit it at the perfect time because of Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
Like, it's been a while. Like, we had the early 2000s heyday of Hard Knocks with, like, Ray Lewis and those Baltimore Ravens team. You had the Rex Ryan Jets teams back in the day. Let's go get a damn snack. All that stuff. But I feel like it's been a while. And coming off how good that quarterback series was on Netflix, getting to look at some
So
of those
good.
guys,
Yeah.
I feel like now you had bad teams that you get strong arm into this. You had Detroit last year, who everybody fell in love with through Hard Knocks, or at least I did. I didn't have a dog in the fight, and I loved that team. Yeah. And now it feels like you're going to get a Jets team that's got the perfect mix of young dudes that all seem to definitely live their life online, live their life out in front of everybody. You've got some of the best young players in the league. in, Sauce and Garrett Wilson. And then you've got a quarterback in Aaron Rodgers who, when he's around a microphone, is no stranger to sharing his opinion on certain things. So it seems like the perfect storm, Stugotz.
Well, I mean, literally, they were a quarterback away last year. And so now we have our quarterback. I mean, we'll see with that defense.
I don't know about that.
They had 7 wins with Zach Wilson, man.
Here's the thing.
7 wins with that quarterback.
Here's the thing. I don't know how it's going to pan out, but in that division, if they don't win the division, I find it very hard for them to have a wild card coming out of that division because of who else is in that division.
Because of how good that division is.
Right.
Yeah.
So like,
where the Patriots are the worst team in that division.
You're probably going to have to win 12 games to win that division.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Stugotz, you're down in Miami. You see that roster.
No, the Dolphins are good. The whole AFC, the landscape, the entire AFC is great.
I don't know if the Jets, even with the greatness of Rodgers, is the #1 team in that division. That's the only thing I would say is for you guys to come and get into the playoffs, you got to win it. So now you got to go to Buffalo.
Yep.
That team is going to be better because they're still. I remember being the Buffalo of the NFL where we felt like we were the best team and didn't do it in 08 and came back in 09 and 10 and then in 10 win the Super Bowl. They're going to have a phenomenal year if they stay healthy. Miami is exciting, and if Tua stays healthy, God knows what that offense is going to do. I mean, and how can you count out Belichick? He's going to figure it out again. I just believe in it because I've fought with that guy too much.
It's also good to know they got a legit coordinator
this
year.
100%.
Yeah. So they were trying to do last year. Sorry.
So like, listen,
he knows it better than anyone else.
Yeah, I mean,
he's going to live through that last year.
Out of that playoff run. But I mean,
what you're saying is you have to win that division, or else you're afraid the Jets won't get in, because it's not just that division.
Yeah.
It's the Bengals, it's the Chiefs, it's the Chargers, it's the Jacksonville Jaguars, and there's like 2 good teams in the NFC.
Think about what they're going to have to do to get the wild card.
Right.
Is it a 10-win team that gets the wild card? 11-win team that gets the wild card?
I don't know.
And like, I do believe that all things equal, Rodgers can be the difference in 4 wins. I do. I mean, from what y'all had last year to him, could he make up 4 wins? Yeah.
So that gets us to 11.
But that's if all things equal.
I am wondering if Justin Tuck, there's one restaurant in South Bend, Indiana, and it has 1 table left, and Golic and Justin Tuck walk in at the exact same time, okay? Unbeknownst to each other. You have no idea that the other one's going to be there. Who's getting that table?
You want me to answer that question first?
You go ahead.
Because Golic walks around like he's the mayor of South Bend still, right?
Either Golic's going to get the table or they're going to go get another table and put them together and we're going to eat together.
That's probably. We're going to find a way to eat together, but if only one could get it. He was a much better player than I was in Notre Dame, and he has 2 Super Bowl rings.
Right.
So that trumps.
Well, I also had the sack record until my guy Isaiah Foskey.
That
was my way of just shouting out Isaiah Foskey.
How'd you feel when that happened? People always say records are meant to be broken. Did you actually like that?
There's literally every time somebody got close. Stephon Tuitt was the first one that got close, and then he went to the league, and I was like, dude, stay another year, break my. Because honestly, I got so tired of people asking me about it. Like, it's not like everybody's like, you don't want to break it. It's not like they paying me to keep it.
Really? When I would have athletes on who had records, I would ask them. There was wrestling at Notre Dame when I was there. My brother Bob wrestled, and I wrestled at Notre Dame as well. And I hold the record at Notre Dame for the quickest pin, 13 seconds. I got a pin. And I would
still a record.
Well, because they dropped wrestling, so. So.
It's a fun life.
I get asked every now and then, did you ever want anybody to break your record? Hell no. No, man. Absolutely. Now, listen, if somebody broke it, I would go and shake their hand and say, congratulations, good job. But I'm not sitting there. I'm hoping they don't. I would love to go to the grave owning that record.
Oh, so you have the 72 Dolphins theory on life. You're popping bottles as soon as somebody stumbles on the way to your glory.
His 14 seconds of it, that's like, yes.
You suck.
He got the program canceled.
As a player that had a lot to do with that record staying with the Miami Dolphins. You're welcome, Miami.
Oh, yeah. Hey, listen. You got to walk into Miami and get royalty.
All right, I'll give you the selfish component of why I like the fact that he broke it, because now I can tell people, well, he broke it in X amount of games and only played 2.5 years and had that record.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
See, like that.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a win-win for me, because now I don't get asked about it anymore, and every time I have to sign a Notre Dame autograph, I don't have to say 25.5 sacks, Notre Dame all-time sack record, blah, blah, blah.
Would you sign that on the ball?
They would ask me.
Every
Really?
time?
Not
That's
every
so many
time, but all the
words.
time.
But you know what's
How
better?
about just take my signature and that's enough?
I had figured
It's like
it
a
out. See, I
small
was really smart
novel.
as a kid. I don't know if anybody does
put
this
Jake
when you're a kid. You just feel like you're going to be a popular player, so you like start signing your autograph when you're 5.
Right.
My autograph was two symbols. Without the number, it was. You know how easy it is to sign that when we had to sign.
And then it became a paragraph.
But you know what the better story is? Where you said
When I was a young
he
man.
broke my record, but I was only there 2.5 years. Is he didn't break my record, and I was only there 2.5 years.
I don't know. His way kind of has a little bit more bite to it, because it's like, oh, congratulations, you're doing amazing, sweetie.
Well, listen, I mean, like, Stephon Tuitt should have broke it. Then we had, who else came out?
If they had counted the sacks that I gave up to Tuitt in 2-minute drill on Thursday every week during practice, he'd have broken that in like half a season.
And he had my face mask. It was just right for him to do it.
Oh, let me tell you what, that Stephon Tuitt, for any of you guys, and Steelers fan in the room, you remember Tuitt, that kid walked in, he's from, I forget where in Georgia.
Yeah.
Walked in, that kid was one of the most country-strong dudes I have ever seen in my life. We used to go in and bench with like chains on the outside and stuff, and I'm in the chains weigh like 65-something pounds each, and I'm in there thinking I'm big and strong. He walks in, they put like 285 pounds on the bar and then throw the change on. Tuitt hasn't like lifted a day in his life. Really.
Yeah.
He's just big.
Just on the form, strong.
He gets in there and he's just ragdolling that thing. And so from then on out, we'd show up for Thursday, we'd do 2-minute drill in practice. And the defense would run nickel. So we ran a 3-4-2. It was the 3-4 defensive end. So he'd be out over the tackle. 2-minute, he kicks down a 3 technique. You run so much empty protection. So I'd be up there praying to any God that would listen. For the love of God, point the mic right. I played right guard. Because then you got the center sliding to help your way. And I promise, if you looked on film, you'd have seen moments that Mike's 57, he's over to the left. Oh, God. Oh, God. And just hold on for dear life, because you watch 2-minute drill as a team the next day.
Yeah.
And my offensive line coach, we're sitting in the team meeting room, and all of a sudden, I am 6'4", 295 pounds. Again, dead dog average athlete. Don't put me at tackle, please. Stephon Tuitt is 6'7", 295 pounds, and I watched him run away from an entire offense after he scooped and scored a fumble. Like, that man is built different as an athlete, and he would line up one-on-one across and be like, how many of those am I supposed to win, coach? He felt like it was a lot more than I did, and so we had a few disagreements on Friday morning. So, again, Stephon Tuitt should have broken that record. I can firsthand tell you that.
Oh, but yeah, so like, yeah, I'm
You're okay with it being broken?
Nah, it'd be different if like I was getting a damn check every year in the mail. It's like, Justin, congratulations, you still own the Notre Dame sack record. Here's
your money for it.
This has been a major burden lifted off your back here, it seems like. And Mike is still holding on to his wrestling record.
God gave
he's not even have to worry, because he's not even worried about it.
They dropped wrestling
anymore.
Right.
He's gonna be okay with that.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
He's good.
I tell you how seriously my dad takes the records that he holds. Dad, what was the pool you belonged to as a kid?
Oh, Manry Pool?
No way.
In Willowick, Ohio. Didn't you guys own like a relay record?
We owned a relay record since 1974 that was broken maybe 5 years ago.
Oh, let it go, Golic.
And when I was in front of
go back to the pool and cry?
I was in front of a huge group of people, and the other people and the guys in the relay were there. It was like Cleveland Awards of something, so I was 1,000 people there. And I brought it up. I said, oh, my guys are here that are part of the relay. We held the record for 30-some years. That was recently broken. And I said, somebody tweeted me because I was doing the show at ESPN and then said, hey, my guys broke the record. And it was expecting me to say, oh, congratulations to them. And I said, drug test them.
I need you to go in the bathroom and pee in this cup. I know what a Wizinator looks like, too.
Yeah, I want that record drug test. And 2 of them failed the drug test.
Oh, my.
All right, I'm going to end this with a game, and I apologize in advance. Okay, we have 2 minutes to go here. It's God Bless Football Live from New York City, brought to you by my plan from Verizon, the plan for fans. I apologize, again, in advance for this, okay? The name of the game is Tuck Yeah or Tuck No.
Was that the first?
That was a cleaned up version.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tuck it or
Once you said that, I was like, that wasn't your idea. Your name.
You were absolutely right. Shout out to Mikey A, our producer.
and I think this is the part Mike was alluding to about the friend.
Embarrassing. Yeah. Go ahead.
We tried to run him into the hard out. They told us we had 2 minutes left.
I will not be deterred from this game.
Who came with
Peeing
these
in the
questions?
pool. Peeing in the pool.
Ooh.
Tuck yeah, tuck no.
Tuck no.
Really?
What?
Really?
No.
Peeing in the shower?
Am I in there by myself?
Yes.
Yes.
Tuck yes.
Peeing in a lake?
Maybe.
Tuck yes.
Okay.
Yes. Sometimes will you use the shower even though you have the option of shower or using the actual toilet? I will just go to
I
the
feel like
shower.
this is TMI.
Right. Okay.
I pee in the shower all the time.
All right.
I do.
Slapping a play like a champion sign when you haven't won a championship since 1988.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
Yes.
Tuck yes.
Tuck yes. You
Tuck
wanna know
yes.
why?
Why?
You know why?
Yeah.
Because we're champions in so much more than just football. Where you go to school?
Boom.
I went to Clark University. Go ahead, have at it.
Clark University.
What is it? Where is it? Worcester, Massachusetts.
Wow.
God.
Yeah. Division 3.
Division
How
8.
did he get up?
Top 10 in the scoring in lacrosse, though.
You read our resumes and then.
all his lacrosse games were on the Ocho.
I wish.
I was just going to say, that's a step up.
Losing your golf cart and acting like it was stolen. Tuck yeah, tuck no. Mike Golic Sr. did that.
Losing my what?
He lost his golf cart.
Back in
South
South
Bend.
Bend.
Somebody stole it.
There's so many things I can say here. If you lose your golf cart, you've had a really good time on a golf course.
Boom. There you go. There
Is
you
that
go.
a football game?
Oh, no. It wasn't a football game.
It's a football
Nailed
game.
it.
Eli or Peyton? Eli had a better career than Peyton Manning. Tuck yeah, tuck no.
No.
No?
Did Eli have a better career than Peyton?
Than Peyton.
No.
Won 2 Super Bowls.
Peyton did too.
So did Peyton.
I know, but he beat Brady. He was your quarterback, man.
Listen,
I mean, I love your honesty, but
Listen, I love Eli, and everyone
It's gotta be
knows this, but Peyton is arguably the best quarterback ever.
This, Justin, is where Stugotz tries.
Yeah,
Before he tried, because this is being broadcast live, it's going to be everywhere.
If
He
Peyton-
wanted you to say Eli.
Is Peyton and Eli right?
I would say
I
Eli.
would say I am grateful for having Eli as my quarterback, and I would never change that.
Okay.
That I would definitely.
What do you think? What do you think?
But the greater quarterback, greater. Just stats alone, right? It's not an argument. Now we're gonna. You could ask me a bit harder question. Is Eli a Hall of Famer? And I'd have been like, Tuck, yes, he should have been a Hall of Famer 2 years ago.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
But
Fair.
brother had a better.
What is Eli better at than Peyton? It could be on or off the field.
I can't say.
all right, last one. We'll get out of here. The 18-1 Patriots were the best team of all time. Tuck yeah, tuck no.
Tuck no.
All right. Thank you to everyone for coming out. Thank you to Verizon again. Verizon, the God Bless Football Live here from New York City is brought to you by My Plan from Verizon. The plan for fans, giving fans the ability to watch their favorite team even when they're not living in the state that they
Anywhere.
live in. Yes.
Anywhere around the
Seriously,
Anywhere.
thank God.
And don't tweet me about I chose Peyton over Eli. I did not choose.
Oh, we know it's
Eli.
gonna-
You are. My phone. My phone is gonna ring off the hook.
No, in all honesty, I was
It's gonna
trying
be a mob. It's gonna be
Yes.
a mob outside my house.
And I tried to do it quickly just to hope that I would sneak it in and you would say the wrong thing, and then it becomes news everywhere.
Love you, Eliza.
How do you feel? Are we friends now, or
People don't even really know Eli's real name. Everybody thinks his real name is Eli. It's not. That's another thing.
I didn't know that.
I know you don't.
How do you feel about me, though, as we wrap this thing up?
Exactly.
He said, "How do you feel about me?"
That's all I care about. Anyway, thank you guys for showing up.
Thank you.
Go Jets.
Thanks, guys.
I don't even know what to say.
Stugotz started that whole experience by asking Justin Tucks, like, you like the Golics, right? What about us? Are we friends? And Justin reminded him, we weren't friends before this. We're not going to be friends after this. All right, Dad, let's finish up with this, that, and the third. 3 quick stories to end your day. As always, make sure you download, subscribe, rate, review. Leave us that 5-star rating and let us know more of what you want to hear around there. Also want to make sure you're up to date and know as we get set to talk about a little baseball here in this, that, and the third, about what our friends at Knock Around Sunglasses are doing right now. They have released the first 9 teams of their special MLB edition and their MLB collection. You got the Red Sox, you got the Yankees, you got the Dodgers in there. I've been rocking a little bit of the Padres and the Mariners lately.
Oh, there you go.
Mariners, really nice reflective glasses there too. Knockaround, the go-to for high-quality polarized shades that start at just $28 here. Not going to break the bank. You don't have to baby them. You don't have to worry about getting sand in them. They've got the U.S. Women's National Team edition as well, so you can get ready for match day here. And I'm going to say it. We draw in that match against the Netherlands because you guys haven't bought enough of the knockaround U.S. Women's National Team sunglasses. Yeah. If you were supporting them financially and with your outfits on game day, the team would have played better. We would have won, maintained our 13-game win streak. So that's on you guys. Go to knockaround.com and check it out there. Again, high-quality polarized shades starting at just $28. Dad, let's get to this, that, and the third. And let's start off with a little bit of baseball. Yeah. According to ESPN.com, one source in particular has said that the Angels had considered letting this last week play out, but have made the decision that it seems like Shohei Ohtani not going to be on the trade block. I saw they actually finalized the deal to acquire right-hander Lucas Giolito, and right-handed reliever Ronaldo Lopez from the White Sox. And so buyers here as we approach the trade deadline. They're 4 games back and look like they're going to try and make a run not only at the postseason this year, but at trying to retain Shohei Ohtani, which, Dad, to me, the more and more I thought about it, makes sense. And to use the baseball analogy, doesn't seem like you can go out with the bat on your back when it comes to a generational prospect, truly once-in-a-lifetime type player in Shohei Ohtani. You can't just let him walk out without trying to do everything you possibly can to.
So they're third in the division now, 7 games out of the division. They're 4 games out of the wild card. They have to jump a few teams to get there as well. And you know how this ends. They'll be double digits out of it. Once it's because they've made this decision.
Oh, no question. Yeah. I mean, they're screwed now.
They've been winning as of late, and they have been pretty, at some of the offers of what they would get back. I can't wait to see what this guy is. Got to be a $600 million deal, right? At least $500, maybe $600 million deal.
600 feels like the floor.
I mean, it is ridiculous of what this player is and where the market is, and another sport like the NBA that is so flush with money when you see these contracts go out. You see them in baseball as well. Shohei may have one of those that in football you see, highest paid in the game at their position, and then it's passed 2 weeks later. This one may not be passed for a while, what Shohei gets paid. But, hey, kudos to the Angels if they want to hang on to him. They have 2 of the best players in him and Trout. And at some point, if they could put it together, great. But get the effort, but it's going to cost you.
Yeah, I count on me getting married and the Angels putting it together in the same breath of things that I am confident in happening at this point.
Your mother is crying right now.
I'm so sorry. The sound of you here crying, by the way, is national sports talk pundits who are now seeing any hope they had of Shohei Ohtani bidding war at the trade deadline going up in flames. The easy conversation piece for First Take is now gone because the Angels want to try and go ahead and make a run at this thing. So thoughts and prayers to everyone who's going to have to figure out some other baseball topic to talk about other than Shohei finally getting to a team that'll do the right thing and put him in the playoffs.
August 1st, trade deadline, so we got a little bit of time for that.
Let's get to that, Dad. This was big time yesterday. The United States saw retired Major David Grush testify in front of the House Oversight Committee talking about UAPs. And I can't stand this pretentious government jargon.
Okay.
The government had a hearing on UFO cover-ups, a whistleblower telling Congress that they've been concealing multiple decades of UFO captures and reconnaissance. He said that he's faced backlash and attempted retaliation, wouldn't get into specifics of it. But, Dad, it always goes back to, we know if you have any concept of math and the size of the universe, just sheer mathematically, there's life out there. And it seems the more and more we go along between pilot footage of guys showing off this stuff, between witness testimony, between whistleblowers like this, the government's known about aliens. We should have stormed Area 51 years ago when we had the opportunity.
They did threaten to shoot, though.
Hey, you know what? If you Naruto run, they can't hit you. That's just a fact. And so we missed out on that golden opportunity. The government continues to want to lie to us about this. I guess they think because there'd be some mass hysteria. Like, we've made peace with the fact that they're out there. Quite honestly, I'm more worried about us killing us at this point than I'm worried about them.
Me too.
They've been around here watching us do this. We got to be like bad reality TV.
We have to be that. They have to be like, why are we going to go mess with them? They're destroying themselves. Let's just let them do that. But again, they can't go with UFO, the government. They have to go with UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena. I mean, seriously. And to your point, and I said this all along as well, to think that there aren't other beings in this galaxy, I mean, there's thousands of galaxies, universe, whatever, is ridiculous. We know we're not alone. Anybody that thinks we're alone, I mean, you got to be kidding me. We've all seen Independence Day. We know what's going on at Area 51, right? We know it's there.
Oh, God.
Show us. Just show us.
And this guy said that he was asked in 2019 by a head of the government task force on UAPs to identify all of the highly classified programs relating to the task force mission. At the time, he was detailed to the National Reconnaissance Office, an agency that operates U.S. spy satellites. So this guy was in the know and is claiming that not only has this stuff been covered up, but that people were actually going to retaliate on him if he came forward. So they're out there. They've been out there.
Yes.
Call them UFOs. We don't got to get fancy with UAP. Use the people's term. It's UFOs. It's been UFO. It's going to be UFO. Dad, but let's get to the third.
Oh, boy. This one is,
again, while we know space is out there, we know aliens are out there. We don't know if love's out there.
We
Travis
don't know.
Kelce. He's been trying his hand for a while. I really don't feel like, as Travis Kelce's rise through the NFL ranks into one of the best tight ends of all time, catching Kelce, his former reality dating show, has really fallen by the wayside.
Well, it really has. I remember when that was going. And dude, he's a great guy. His personality is phenomenal.
Great karaoke artist.
Incredible out in Tahoe when he did that.
One of the best performances.
Just an incredible guy. And when a guy of this magnitude shoots his shot and gets shot down, what does that make it for the rest of us?
Man, so
single people.
On New Heights, him and his brother Jason's podcast, he talked about Taylor Swift came through and played at Kansas City at Arrowhead. Said it was a great environment. Said he's like, I haven't seen it that packed except for Chiefs games. And so to see that kind of environment for somebody else, he tried to go and do what had been popular on the tour. I've talked about on this podcast. The friendship bracelets are a big theme for this tour. You make them sayings from the concert. Apparently, Travis tried to put his number on a friendship bracelet and wanted to give it to Taylor before the show. He said he was disappointed to find out that before this marathon show, where it's 44 songs, it's 3+ hours, she doesn't meet with anyone. She's preserving her voice.
Right.
And he tried to say he was disappointed because he wanted to give her the bracelet that had his number on it and feels like he got shot down. He said he took that personally.
I love during the broadcast or the podcast, his brother Jason was like, your uniform number or your phone number? He was like, you know which one.
All right.
Here's my question. So I understand her not talking with anybody before because of the show she puts on. What about after? I'm sure she meets with people after. Why wouldn't he wait and go after? If he truly is trying to shoot his shot, why wouldn't he wait, go after, and meet her afterward?
That is true, which to me, I have to question. Travis, did you leave early?
Yes.
Because if you left the concert early,
then really, how can you expect her to accept your friendship, whatever bracelet and number, if you're leaving the concert early?
You know what? I want to believe that maybe it was just a misunderstanding, maybe even after the concert, because we've seen the show. It's involved. I'd imagine the recovery process starts right after for her too. So maybe, because it does seem like Travis came into this with great intentions. He's making the friendship bracelets, which is excellent. I love to see a guy bought into the process, bought into the Taylor Swift fandom universe. So Travis, welcome to the party. I didn't know you had a seat at the table like this.
If you met her at Notre Dame, I don't think you did, or after a concert, what would you be saying to her?
I would hope to be able to put together words, because being in the presence of an actual deity is something that I'm not really prepared for. Travis was prepared. He did his absolute best, and we applaud him for that. We did our best today, and we hope you enjoyed it. If you did, download, subscribe, rate, and review. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Boom. Money in the bank.